Cathy Smalligan died this past July. Probably most people in COS didn't know her because she was housebound for the last, I'm thinking 12, 15 years. But when I think of Cathy, I think of Cathy and Don, her husband, together. Don died quite some time ago. I first got to know Don, I suppose, when we were colleagues on the faculty of Calvin College. Don and Cathy were founders of Church of the Servant. And when I think of Don and Cathy, when I think of Don, what comes to mind is just extreme generosity of spirit. He showed an interest in people, in live human beings. He had various building projects across the city that he was involved in. To the best of my knowledge, all of those projects were focused on disadvantaged people. None of them were great big housing and so forth projects. And that was an example of an illustration of his generosity of spirit. In the Old Testament, when the Old Testament prophets talk about justice, they almost always tie it to the condition of the widows, the orphans, the aliens, and the poor. And Don Smalligan just embodied that to a T.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then later, I don't know how that began, but Don and I sponsored, he made possible the purchase of a duplex house on Cherry Street.
Way downtown.
Way downtown, and fixed it up. It didn't need much fixing. There were young students who lived there. Some are still members of COS, and it was for young unmarried college graduates. They were Calvin graduates, and it was a lovely place. I sponsored weekly classes for young unmarried pregnant women. We made a lovely meal together. We sat down and experienced that a lot of these 12, 14-year-old young girls infrequently had. And so that was a lovely, lovely thing that Don did. There were other people involved, but mostly he and I. And it was much blessed. The years went by, and our son Eric died in 1983. And my most vivid memory was we knew Cathy, who was quiet because she suffered severe pain for many, 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 many years. There weren't the help.
But she didn't
No, she was uncomplaining.
One wouldn't have, most people didn't know about this.
No, but I remember she came to our house with some food. Eric died in June, and later she wrote a note saying how she grieved at the death of a child at birth.
Of their own child.
Their own child at birth, and that was one of the most lovely things that comforted me during that time. We visited off and on over the years, and the last time we saw Cathy and Don was when Don was ill,
Right.
and she wasn't very well either, but that's some years ago, and it was a lovely moment, yeah. And they were very important in a quiet way, because Don was so steady in all that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Precious people.
They were.
Precious people.
They were saints.
They were.